Is this the end time for bricks and mortar wargaming stores, and does it even matter? Welcome to the Dice Gods. My name is Hydra, and today we're going to talk about friendly local game stores. Before we do, thank you as ever to members and patrons. Specifically, and worthy of specific note, is Sean Colburn, Old Man Rogers, Chaos Discordia, Runic Wolf, Chris Sexton, and Kaz, along with all the other Patreons and members who are making all of these videos and all this goodness for you possible. So if they're doing that, you should do your bit. Join up. Costs less than a cup of coffee. Helps me make more stuff. And hopefully soon we're going to start doing battle reports, which is even more important than anything else that we do. Maybe. We'll see. Anywho, so this conversation, where's this coming from? About a week or so back, I put out a video talking about the secret sales that Corvus Belli is doing of new product. It's going to be there probably. You can watch that if you haven't done already. In that, I talked about the fact that I don't like the pre-sale of a pre-sale that they're doing for product because it cuts out the friendly local game store. And I think that that's a really short-sighted approach and not good for the hobby. Now, for me, the interesting thing about that was the feedback that came from all of you. Because it sort of stretched from, yeah, that's terrible, to gaming stores? Why do we need gaming stores? And everything kind of in between. And, you know, I started wargaming in the UK, South Coast, and Bournemouth, and gaming stores around there were really important to the community. They were a hub. I've moved to the Netherlands. They are much less important, and there are fewer, there are less than in the UK. It's a much smaller thing. Anecdotally, we're seeing in the comments that some people are saying, we don't even have them. Why are all those for? And other people are saying it is essential. Without this, I can't function. So I wanted to talk about FLGSs. I want to talk about what they are. I want to talk about why they matter, or why I think they matter, why I think we as wargamers, if we have FLGSs, should be supporting them. I also want to talk about the challenges that we see facing the FLGS, and also where they go wrong. It's a controversial one, but I've worked with lots of FLGSs professionally as well as a customer, and there are some consistent issues that they have. So I want to talk about all of those things. First of all, let's talk about what FLGS is, what a friendly local game store is. As the name implies, it is a place where you can buy stuff, but a good one is way more than that. It doesn't just physically provide product, it also provides opportunity. It is a location normally that has tables where you can set up and play, but also a social aspect where you can meet other players, you can network and build your gaming group from that central hub. They'll often frequently have events so that you can have your tournaments in one place, you can have your weekly catch-ups in one place, all this kind of stuff. It really provides that central core of place where all of your hobby can take place. You know, you've got, it's not just the product of physically buying the wargaming stuff, it's buying your paint, buying your glue, buying your basic materials, buying your dice, buying your terrain, buying whatever, all in one place. And that convenience, that hub, is really important. Now, there's going to be somebody in the comments saying that, you know, wargaming isn't that important because you have CCGs, you have Magic the Gathering, and a lot of stores are based around that. And yeah, I agree, I understand that. But when we look at some of the projections that are coming out at the moment, CCGs are estimated to be worth about just over $4 billion per year by 2028, whereas wargaming is estimated to be at $3 billion in that period of time. So yes, CCGs are bigger. We can talk about why they're also a little bit better in a minute, but they are bigger, but wargaming definitely has its place, and there is definitely a market there. But why do these stores matter? Why are they important? We have the internet. You know, if you've completely sold your soul, you can buy your wargaming materials from Amazon. You can get discounts online of 30% in some circumstances with the bigger guys. You don't have to live with paying a 5% discount at an FLGS. I mean, that is the difference. That's physical money. But why do they actually matter? I've run multiple communities, as I've said repeatedly on this channel, and the easiest to start and the easiest to maintain momentum with have always been based around FLGSs. They've always had a central store at their core. They provide a place where we can say, on a Thursday, we'll be here. And other people come in and they see it and they can discover games. They can discover games that way. They see the stuff on the shelf. Oh, that's interesting. Well, we're actually playing it over here. And you can see it in action. You can sort of loiter around the table in an awkward fashion, not really talking to anyone and looking at your feet, but seeing how the game plays, seeing what's involved. Maybe you spark up a conversation. Maybe you come back the next week and do it then. But you can actually discover games hands-on, see what's involved at a gaming store. You also can arrange to try them. I used to run demos weekly at the gaming stores where I ran this. We'd have people come in, sometimes two complete strangers. We'll be book in for a demo. This is Dave, this is Mike. You've never met before, but we're going to play Infinity. Let's do it. And you build this network. You get to try the game before you've even invested. You can't really do that online. You can watch people like me, and you can read reviews and all this kind of stuff, but that doesn't tell you whether you're going to enjoy it, whether the actual experience of playing the game will be for you. A demo is important for that, and much as there are people like myself who are walkers, and we can create situations where that happens, it's nowhere near as simple as walking into a store, seeing games happen and saying, you know, I'd really like to try that. Cool, give me a minute, I'll just finish this guy off and then we shall play. It's simply not the same experience. You also have this central community hub where you can all come together. I mean, when I used to, one of the communities that I ran, Lilith, my wife, she used to come down with me, and if she wasn't gaming, she'd sit and paint at tables, and other people would come and they'd sit around and they'd paint too. You have this community, this hub where you can just hang out and you can have fun and you can meet people and you can network and you can build that sense of community around a physical location. Yes, you can do it in forums. Yes, you can do it in Discord. It's not the same as being physically face-to-face. I'm old, okay? And it's not the same as a gaming club. Because if you're in a gaming club, which are fantastic, I am running one currently, gaming clubs are great, but if you get somebody in for a demo and they like it, you go, let me just get my phone. Right, so you can buy it from this website here, as opposed to a gaming store where you can go, cool, you enjoyed that. Let's look at some of the miniatures. And they just had this great experience and they can buy in there and then they can pick their first set of miniatures up. That high that comes off of a good demo turns into, I've got the miniatures in hand. I need to leave now. I have minis to build. You can't do that in a gaming club. You can't do that in Discord in the same way. You don't get that instant like, yay. The motivation that comes from having products on the shelf post-demo, the momentum that builds is phenomenal. The FLGSs I used to work with would at points sell ridiculous amounts of product of an evening because we have games going on, and if you win a game, you buy a miniature because you won. And if you lose a game, you buy a miniature because, you know, it's commiserations. And if you've just had your demo, you buy a miniature. It was good business from them, but from the perspective of running my community, I had people buying in product, getting miniatures and playing and joining and actively investing in the community and becoming members. The growth of that community, the strength and stability of that community was huge because we could get product on hand. It was there, and the place we were getting it from was incentivized to give us space and give us opportunity, terrain, tables. It was all there. You also have the ability in a FLGS to share skills. Now, yes, you can do that in a club. That's absolutely true. But sitting down around a table and painting, like I said with Lilith, having people there that you can go, I need to build this miniature, and I've never worked with COcast. I've never worked with COcast before. How do I do that? I've never painted a miniature before. What process do I go through? Having that environment where you can go, cool, this is how you do it, and actually this is a good product, and this is a good brush, and this is the way that it can work. It helps people ease into what can be a very intimidating hobby. You know, if you take up most, not all, but most hobbies, and you take up a sport of some description, you don't have to build your kit beforehand. You don't have to build your shoes before you start. And you certainly don't have to paint them. And you're not going to get judged on that painting by other people. That doesn't happen. But in wargaming, everything comes in bits and you have to build it before you can even start. That can be really intimidating, and it's something that I've seen as well in our comment section of other videos of people just being like, how do I do? You do this way. Oh, okay. And you can tell that it's not the same as having somebody in front of them going, right, so this is how we put this to... Right. That opportunity to learn, to meet, to connect, to share, to experience new things, to try things before you buy it, that is a unique FLGS type experience, that whole package. And you can't get that online. Discord is great. Forums are great. They're not the same thing. It's why it really matters. The health of a community can be tied directly to the availability of an FLGS. So what challenges do we see in the current FLGS? Well, as I alluded to earlier, pricing. Online pricing, the discount sellers out there, we're not going to name them, we all know them, they go low. They're working on the volume side of things. And if you have the need to hit a certain profit per unit because you're not doing it in volume, then you're going to get priced out by the online market. And if people are only buying on price, if the only thing they see is the value on the box, you're not going to make that sale. And next up is the pure range of stuff that is available. I mean, look at over the last few years, last decade or two, I guess, the volume of different systems that are out there has exploded. If you go to a website like Whaling Games and you look at the range of different systems from different manufacturers they have, there is just so much. What do you stock? You know, you've got to have 40k. Well, do you? Not every community needs it. And actually, if you already have 5 stores in your city that are doing 40k, do you? Do you need that? Do you get Infinity? Do you get Drop Zone? Do you get Warcrow? Do you get... There's so many different things. Malifaux, blah, blah, blah. There's so many different systems out there. It's before we get to historicals and all the different scale. It's immense, the volume of different systems that are out there right now. And keeping up with that and managing that is huge, which leads to the next thing. Space. You have a certain amount of space. And that's where I get a lot of stores switch for CCGs. They go for your collectible card games. A pack of cards takes up way less space than a pack of tanks. You know, I mean, there we go. Old school Anaconda. This is one product. I mean, this is what, 4 magic boosters potentially, maybe 6, I don't know. You're going to get more product and more profit per volume of space on your shelf if you stock CCGs and if you stock wargaming stuff. And if you're trying to stock a large range for each of the systems that you hold, and you're trying to stock a large range of systems, the amount of space you need to do that, the money you need to hold that stock, is huge. It's incredibly insane. We've also seen costs going up. Costs are going up across the board for the physical product as well as for, you know, renting space and taxes and all this kind of stuff. The pressure on high street locations, I think pretty much worldwide, but I'm happy to be proven wrong. But certainly in the UK and in most of the European countries that I know, in the US, the price to physically have the audacity to want to sell product in the high street, which is where you want to be. You want footfall, you want traffic going past the door so people can go, what's that? Let's go and have a look, and start into the hobby. The costs associated with that have gone up and continue to do so. So those practical challenges, though, the space, the range, these are all big issues. And then on top of that, you have this uniquely, I mean, not uniquely, but it feels uniquely bad in the wargaming environment of unreliable distributors and unreliable suppliers. So if you haven't come across the concept before, a lot of FLGSs will buy from a distributor. So that is a company that will buy and warehouse product from lots of different companies, bring it all in one place, and then they'll send you out all of the stuff that you need. So you won't just buy Infinity. You will buy Malifaux from them too, and you buy Bolt Action from them too, and it'll be through one supplier that you get all of this stuff. I've worked in several industries. I have not come across any industry that is as bad as wargaming distributors are. Just being late with product, shipping incomplete or inaccurate stuff, like over-promising, under-delivering, not being able to fulfill the stuff they said. You know, you've sold it to your customer, you've done a pre-order of X, Y, Z, and they said, yeah, no problems, you can have 15, and they ship 2. Where are the other 13? Well, unfortunately, what can I have the other 13? No, we're out of stock now. But how is that one of the options? How is that a choice? And that does, to an extent, with distributors, come back to unreliable suppliers. Some FLGSs do buy direct from suppliers, the manufacturers of the systems, people like Corvus Belli, and they can be, in certain situations, incredibly bad at delivering product. Delaying without updating, not having sufficient product, not shipping the right stuff. I have worked with multiple companies in the last few years who have requested specific product and received completely other product from the makers of the system. You're like, you guys, you physically make this. If anyone in the world knows what this particular product is that we ordered, you should, and you sent something else. And they can also be incredibly difficult at then rectifying those issues. Well, no, we shipped you that now. It's your order, mate. No, it's not my order. I ordered this and you said that. It's incredible the way in which certain companies make it really hard to sell their product. But it's not outside issues as well. It's internal issues and in some situations, a cultural issue within FLGSs. Those pricing issues, those challenges that they're facing, and unreliable stock, those can be difficult to navigate. They can be stressful. They can make it hard to run your business. That's absolutely true. Prices going up, needing all the storage, etc. That can make it hard to be an FLGS owner, and I have sympathy for them. You know, these are people whose main business hours need to be when everyone else is relaxing. That sucks, man. You don't want to have to start work in the afternoon when kids get out of school to be there so that they can play their games, and then up until 11 o'clock at night when all the adults come out and play their games, then go home, and then be open all day and all evening and the weekends, and then go home, because that's when you make your money. That's rough, man. I know lots of people do it in the service industry and stuff, but that's not really necessarily a desirable business model that you want to engage in. So I understand all of these challenges and unsociable hours, shall we say, unsociable working conditions. I get it. It's tough. It is tough. And I think that's why, certainly in the past few years, there have been less friendly local gaming stores. I've seen several that have gone out of business, or several that have pivoted to something else, that have gone from being a wargaming store to being a board game store, for example. Moved away from having tables to having a cafe. Pivoted away from this because it's tough, and I get that, but it's not just the realities of the industry that are the problem. There is also, as I say, a cultural issue, in my opinion, with FLGSs, and where they go wrong is quite surprising to me, but also quite consistent. It's been true of companies that I've worked with in the UK and in the Netherlands and beyond, actually. So what issues do I see? Where could FLGSs go better? A lot of them are run as a boys' club. They're run as bunsies. So they will get their mates involved, and it will be kind of, yeah, we sell product, mate. Oh, it's all fun and games and giggles, and we're all buddies, and we're all fun. We're all part of this community. And the problem with that is it leads to an unfocused approach to what is in fact a business. Okay, people are giving money to FLGSs for product, and they are relying on that place to fulfill and to communicate and to do their job. Ah, mate, it's all right. Doesn't work. You've got my cash. You have my money. I'm relying on you doing a thing. It can also lead, when you get that type of environment, to quite a hostile environment. If you're not in that community, if you're not in that group of buddies, you can walk into, and I'm sure many of us have had it, an FLGS which feels overtly hostile. I have walked into FLGSs that have been overtly hostile. You're like, hey, do you guys play any Infinity here? No. Okay. Awesome. I'm there sort of saying, do you want me to run dems? Do you want to see if we can get something going? I.e., I'm saying, would you like me to give my time so you can make more money? And it's like, what? No, mate, we don't play that here. Okay, there's ways and there's ways. There's ways of being like, actually, we don't actually have a community and it's not something we stock. Cool, I understand that. Would you be interested in changing it? No, fair enough. Thank you for your time. I go out the door. I don't feel like I've just spat in someone's face, So that mentality of being a boys' club spreads down from there, and you end up with things like stock based on what the lads think, what we think we should stock, because we think it's a good idea. You need to listen to your community as FLGSs. What do they think you should stock? I have seen stores make bewildering decisions on what they wanted to stock. Brand new games that the boss man thought was just funny, while the community waits for stuff they actually already have bought into and need more of. Like, I've just spent €500 on all this. Cool, but we hadn't pre-orders for this system, and we'd quite like to have ordered it. Oh, no, I get that next month or something. It's cool. I'll buy it online for 20% less. There is this idea that if you're a wargamer and you own a wargaming store, you are right in what you should buy, and it's not true. Your community should dictate. They should define. They should choose for you and inform for you what matters the most and what is useful. So it's important that you listen to your community more than what you think and feel. Because at the end of the day, it is your community that you want to spend money with you. So asking your community what they want, what specific products, what specific lines, is a lot more important than what your distributor tells you they can get, what you think or feel they should want. It matters most what the people that physically are your customers care about. And a lot of stores, it's bizarre how many lose focus on that, and they think, well, I like this system, therefore, more good for you. Doesn't mean to say anyone else cares. And frequently, they don't. And when that's the case, you've spent all this money buying in stock that sits on the shelves and gathers dust. I've seen that so many times, stores with piles of stock. They're like, wow, we thought it was going to be the next best thing. Based on what? Did anyone ask for it? Well, no. What'd you buy it for then? Very strange. The next weird thing that FLGSs don't do is market. It's one of the most basic things. People will only buy what they know you've got. It's pretty basic. We have a whole world of free social media out there. You have your Instagrams, your Facebook, even your Reddit, places like that where you can say, we have, for pre-order, we have these products available to go. You can look at generating email lists, get people to register email addresses with you so you can email them and say, these products are in, this stuff is available. There is all kinds of stuff that you can do just to make your life easier, because it's amazing to me, like with Infinity. Infinity has monthly releases, so does Warcrow. There's many other systems that do the same. And it's very rare that FLGSs will go out and say, hey, this month you've got this. Best example I've got is if you look at Warsenal in the US. Hello, Warsenal. Had the joy of meeting the boss man, Jay, from Warsenal a couple of years ago at the Interplanetaria. Lovely human being, fantastic human being, awesome. But really, really engaged with the community and what they want and what they need. And it's often the case that Warsenal will have the pre-orders up and available before Corvus Belli's announced them. They'll have the Infinity stuff there and the Warcrow stuff there as it's announced. It's like, bang, you want to buy it? There, go, done. That's how you do it, bluntly. That's how it should be. There are so many stores that I've worked with over the years where you have to go, hi, so we've got these pre-orders and I'd like to order one, please. Well, please, can I give you some money? Well, I don't know if I really want it, to be honest with you. It should not be hard to buy from a gaming store. The focus on stores should be the fact that what they're doing. An FLGS, your job's relatively simple. You're selling people stuff they want. stuff that makes them happy. This isn't insurance. This isn't like gas and electric. This isn't stuff you need. This is stuff you want. And that means that you want to spend that money. You want to give that cash away. You've got it in your little pud and you're ready to hand it to somebody. It's amazing how many stores make that hard. They make it difficult for you to give them the cash. And simple, basic marketing, we just had a restock of these products in. We've just had a restock of that product in. I saw it today with a store that I'm doing bits and pieces with. Bit of miscommunication. They'd overordered one thing. So they took it to one of the groups that I'm involved in and went, hey, I've got the... It was gone. Just left the building instantly. In seconds, it was gone. Telling people what you have lets them buy it. If we don't know what you've got, we can't buy it. It's not hard. The next bit is quite hard, but is even more important. So many FLGSs don't do customer service, and it is bewildering. And this is both true online and in presence. So the online stores and the FLGSs, they don't offer basic customer service. It's incredibly frustrating. So along the lines of marketing, if I pre-order something, I don't want to have to ask you where it is. I want you to tell me. Because I bought a product from you that you agreed to supply and you have my money. I should not need to think about that until it arrives. Because you should proactively let me know what's going on. And this has been true with teams that I've worked with online, as well as that physical bricks and mortar store, which is mostly what we're talking about. Online retailers can listen to this too. If somebody has pre-ordered something with you, give them an estimate of when it will be with them, and then follow up on that before that date. And if it's going to be delayed, you be the one to tell them. Don't have them ask you. And let them know when you anticipate getting that product or when you're next going to chase it up, and then do it. There are so many stores that I've worked with who have a terrible reputation because you order something and then there is absolute silence. And there was a store that I have worked with in the past that at one point a good friend of mine, had waited 9 months for a product. And they were like, what is going on? Because after 3 months, they forgot about it. And then they're like, hang on a sec, I should have had this by now. I haven't had this. Where the hell is this? Oh yeah, no, it's not coming yet. Why am I telling you that? Why is that a conversation I have to have with you? Why are you not coming back to me? After 3 months, why are you not saying, do you know what? It's not coming. Shall I give you a refund on this and cancel it? Or do you want to keep it going? Or where do you want to go with this? Because this has taken a long time. And when the funny thing was, when it turned up, it wasn't complete. The order had been screwed up. And my friend was just like, you know what? Give us a refund. F it. I don't care. I'm done. Any possible joy that could have been had out of this is now left the building. Now that was a screw up by the manufacturer, by the supplier of the game. Had the store been proactive in saying, hey friend, anticipate date here, chased here, we chased, it's been delayed. And put, even if we're not going to chase this for 2 weeks because it can take a while. So we chase up on this date and we'll let you know how it goes. Entry in the calendar, send up follow-up email. Hey Dave, any words on, hey supplier, any updates on this? I've spoken to the supplier, this is our status. You're not hassling the supplier, but you're giving good customer service for the sake of an agenda point in your calendar and 2 emails. Instead, something that's supposed to be fun becomes, I have to remember this. I have to remember what I bought from you and when it was supposed to be. That's not fun. And it's such a basic thing. And the cry of, oh, but we have so many customers. If you can't handle the number of customers you've got, you shouldn't be in business. That's just brutal truth. If you can't give people the respect that them giving you money deserves, you shouldn't be doing the gig. This is a boys' club thing. I just want to have fun and get cheap minis. No. You want to do that? There's ways to do it. Don't open a store. Don't open a business. Don't tell people you're going to supply them product, because it doesn't work that way. And you annoy people and you frustrate people, and people then get a bad reputation, bad thoughts about your business, but also that stank goes onto the systems that you supply. That's not fair. Even if it is the supplier's fault, if you do your job and you communicate well, it will be fine, because, you know, wargaming is fun, hobby. It's supposed to be this fun, enjoyable thing, but on the flip side, it's not. You're not selling air. You're not selling water. People don't need this stuff to live. So, yeah, problems with the manufacturer, it's going to be delayed by a few months. Do you want to cancel it or keep going? A lot of people will be like, you know what? I have plenty of other miniatures to paint. I can wait. Update me in a couple of months. Cool, no problems. Everybody in that equation is then happy. I mean, happy. Everyone is content. I know where I am. I know what's going on. I've made a decision. I've made a decision to wait for this product by not communicating, by just being like, cheers for the cash. It's a negative customer experience. It's such a basic thing in business to give good customer service. It's such a simple thing to do as well. So, yeah, those are the issues that I see with FLGSs, which will hasten their death. It will hasten the end of this. And I think that good, strong, healthy communities benefit in most instances from a good FLGS. If FLGSs are going to have to fight against, as they are, pricing versus online, against the number of things they need to get, increased costs and the space that they need, and all this kind of stuff. They're going to have to be fighting with their suppliers and their distributors. These things, this battle is going to go on, but it is going to be so much harder if you are in the process upsetting your customer base by not dealing with this as a business, by not dealing with them as a customer. It will hasten the end. And I think if we lose FLGSs completely from the high street, I see it in the Netherlands. We don't have a good FLGS network that covers the country. We don't have good places you can go and learn. It makes growing and maintaining a community so much harder, so much tougher. I said in that video about the secret sales from Corvus Belli that they are deliberately harming the community by what they're doing, and they are. And it will be to the detriment of communities if we don't have these FLGSs. So, to gamers, if you have an FLGS, please try and support it. Even if you're completely settled, even if you're happy and you have a bunch of guys that you go and play with on all the rest of it, and you only visit your FLGS once a month for some painting bits and pieces, try and support them more. Try and play there. Try and help your community grow and keep those businesses strong. These are people's livelihoods, but it's also an opportunity for people to learn your system and to develop and bring on the next generation, develop skills. There are friends there you haven't yet met. Invest the time. Will it push the price up of your products by 10, 15%? It may well do. Maybe even more. But in opportunity, in network, in community, it's worth so much more, and you can't replace that with online. It's not the same thing. If you're an FLGS store owner, remember this is a business. You need to listen to your community, you need to cater to your community, and you need to deal with your customers as customers. These things are important for the growth and development of your business. You need to do that. And to distributors and suppliers, if you want your game to grow, there is no better way to do that than in a friendly store with a tabletop and terrain and your product on the shelf and on the tabletop. There will never be a better way. All the gaming events in the world, all the online videos, these will all help. But physically having it in hand and being able to go to the shelf and buy it and walk out of the store with it, that creates a connection, an excitement and a buzz which we can't achieve consistently any other way. So it would be great if distributors and suppliers could make it easier for FLGSs to buy their product and have it on time and well communicated. That would be fantastic. FLGSs, be professional. And community as a whole, if we can support a local gaming store, I think we should, because if we lose them, it's going to be harder for all of us. But what do you think? Do you have an FLGS? If you do and they're awesome, put it in the comments below. Put a link to their site, to their socials, whatever. Make them known below. Let's celebrate some of the people who are out there helping this community grow and supporting all of us in our hobby. If there is a especially egregious supplier and they're watching this, please learn. But don't call them out. We don't need to do that. We know there are bad ones out there. Just celebrate below the FLGSs. If you don't have an FLGS, how do you grow your community? Do you think one would help? What could you get from an FLGS that you can't get anywhere else? Put that in the comments below. Aside from that, do please like, share, subscribe, push the word out of the Dice Gods. That will be greatly appreciated. And do sign up as a member of Patreon if you can, because that's also cool. But aside from that, thank you all so much for watching. Really appreciate your time. I'll see you all again soon. Take care. Goodbye.